How often do you challenge your thoughts and beliefs? What if those cherished ideas are actually holding you back? Are you truly evolving or just repeating the same old patterns? What if the key to success isn't just about being smart, but about being able to rethink and unlearn? Intelligence is traditionally viewed as the ability to think and learn. Yet in a turbulent world, there's another set of cognitive skills that might matter more: the ability to rethink and unlearn. Welcome to Think Again by Adam Grant, your personal guidebook to unlocking the game-changing superpower of knowing when to ditch those old ideas and embrace the new. By the end of this video, you might just stumble upon that life-altering takeaway that'll help you level up in life. Now, let's dive into it. Part 1. Individual Rethinking. Updating our own views. Chapter 1. Think like a scientist. We're all guilty of getting stuck in our own heads sometimes. Adam Grant calls it the preacher, prosecutor, or politician mode. It's when we preach our beliefs, prosecute others' ideas, or play politics to win people over. But here's the kicker. The real MVPs think like scientists. Now, I know what you're thinking. Scientists? Boring. But hold up. It's not about lab coats and test tubes. It's about being curious and ready to change our views when new info comes our way. From entrepreneurs to presidents, the ability to rethink and adapt is what sets the great ones apart. The thing is, being smart doesn't automatically make you good at rethinking. In fact, it can sometimes work against you. The smarter you are, the harder it can be to update your beliefs. Ouch, right? But it's true. Studies show that people with higher IQs are faster at recognizing patterns, which makes them fall easily for stereotypes and assumptions. This means that being good at thinking can, conversely, make you worse at rethinking. Then how do we become better at rethinking? It all starts with humility. It's about admitting there's stuff we don't know. When we embrace our inner I don't know, we open the door to doubt, curiosity, and ultimately, growth. Here's your challenge. Start channeling your inner scientist more in your daily life. It might feel uncomfortable, but isn't growth worth the discomfort? As George Bernard Shaw once said, progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Chapter 2. Finding the sweet spot of confidence, between imposter syndrome and overconfidence. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. Charles Darwin. Cue the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's like that friend who thinks they're a karaoke superstar but can't carry a tune in a bucket. Turns out, the less we know, the more likely we are to overestimate our skills. In one study, people who scored the lowest on tests of logic and language believed they outperformed their peers. However, the reality was they overestimated themselves. They were confident but clueless. Confidence is awesome, but when it outpaces competence, it's like driving blindfolded, a disaster waiting to happen. On the flip side, there's imposter syndrome. It's those moments when you feel like a fraud, worried that others will discover you're not as smart or talented as they think. Whether you're overconfident or stuck in imposter syndrome, both extremes make it hard to rethink and grow. So how do we find that sweet spot between crippling self-doubt and overblown confidence? The answer lies in confident humility. It's believing in your ability to learn while being aware that you don't have all the answers. This balance keeps us grounded, yet open to improvement. Confident humility can be learned. In one study, students who read about the benefits of admitting what they didn't know were 20% more likely to seek extra help. They were also more open to different perspectives. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Remember that imposter syndrome we're all so afraid of? Turns out it might not be such a bad thing after all. Grant suggests that those imposter feelings can actually be a secret weapon. In fact, great thinkers and leaders don't doubt themselves because they're weak. They doubt themselves because they know how much they don't know. As Adam Grant puts it, learning requires the humility to realize one has something to learn. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. Chapter 3. Finding joy in being wrong and not believing everything you think. Now, I know, being wrong doesn't exactly sound like a joyride. but it could unlock the most liberating, growth-filled experiences of your life. We're all wrong more often than we think. The trick is learning to accept and embrace it instead of digging ourselves deeper into a hole of denial. Here's the problem: our inner dictator. It's like the overprotective bouncer in our brains. It only lets in the facts that agree with what we already believe, and kicks out anything that might make us uncomfortable. It can be comforting, but on the other hand, it prevents us from growing. The thing is, when our core beliefs are challenged, our brains tend to freak out. It triggers the lizard part of our brain that neuroscientists call amygdala, which leaps us straight into fight-or-flight mode. This leads us to get defensive and feel like our very identity is under attack. It's no wonder we dig in our heels, whether we're arguing about politics, career choices, or which way to put the toilet paper roll. The shift we need is to embrace the joy of discovery. We weren't born with our opinions. We have way more control to choose our views and rethink them anytime we want. Being wrong is often the first step to being right. When we let go of our attachment to always being correct, we open ourselves up to growth. So how do we make this shift? 1. Detach your present from your past. Are you the same person you were 5 years ago? Probably not. Embracing how much you've changed can help you let go of outdated ideas. As Ray Dalio says, if you don't look back at yourself a year ago and think, "Wow, how stupid I was," you must not have learned much. 2. Detach your opinions from your identity. Instead of defining yourself by what you believe, focus on your values. Who you are should be a question of what you value, not what you believe. Values like curiosity, integrity, or kindness give you a solid foundation, while still leaving room to update your beliefs as you learn more. You see, being wrong might sting in the moment, but it's a key part of getting things right in the long run. Think of it as a workout for your brain. Every time you admit a mistake, you're strengthening your ability to think critically and adapt. Research also shows that people who can laugh at their own mistakes are happier and more resilient. Remember, friends, the purpose of learning isn't to affirm our beliefs, it is to evolve our beliefs. The more we embrace that, the more we can find joy in being wrong. Chapter 4. Constructive Conflict. At first glance, conflicts and disagreements can feel like personal attacks, a test of who's right or wrong. However, by flipping this perspective, you can open doors to more opportunities and growth. Many successful companies work by encouraging debate and challenge. Instead of silencing disagreements, they harness it to spark creative solutions and drive better decisions. When you step into a conflict with an open mind, you're not defending your ego. You're exploring uncharted territory that can lead to breakthroughs in your thinking. So, how do you transform a heated debate into a productive dialogue? The key is to embrace active listening. Instead of preparing your counterargument while the other person speaks, focus on listening. This matters because by listening without judgment, you open yourself up to insights you might have missed and reduce the chance of misunderstandings. Remember that your self-worth is not tied to being right. Detach your identity and self-worth from your ideas. Picture the time when you and your friend passionately disagreed on a topic. Rather than turning it into a personal attack, you can use the conflict as a tool for growth. When you welcome differing opinions, you not only sharpen our own insights, but also create a culture where disagreement leads to discovery, not division. Being open to the opinions of others is not about softening your stance. Instead, it sharpens it with insights that only diverse viewpoints can provide. Part 2. Interpersonal Rethinking. Opening other people's minds. Chapter 5. How to win debates and influence people. We don't have much luck changing other people's minds if we refuse to change ours. This powerful quote reminds you that the true win in any debate is when minds, both yours and others, are influenced. Changing your view isn't a sign of weakness. It's a mark of growth. When a debate makes you reconsider your opinions, it shows you're open to learning. It doesn't mean you're flip-flopping or hypocritical. It means you're evolving. The goal isn't to prove you're right, but to foster an environment where new ideas can take root. The key to influencing others is empathy. When you ask questions like, "What experiences led you to this belief?" Or, "How does this issue affect you personally?" you invite others to share their stories. This approach disarms defensiveness and builds a bridge of understanding that opens both parties to alternative viewpoints. Research shows that people are much more receptive to new ideas when they don't feel attacked. A gentle, empathetic approach is far more effective than aggressive argumentation. Here are some practical techniques for persuasion. 1. Start by identifying common ground. Emphasize what you both value to build rapport. 2. Narrow your arguments to only your strongest points. A weak argument generally dilutes the strong ones. Overloading the conversation makes it easier for others to pick apart your case. 3. Ask open-ended questions. Instead of launching into offense and defense with blunt statements, express genuine curiosity. 4. Incorporate storytelling to make your argument more memorable. Humans are hardwired for stories. Instead of overwhelming someone with raw data, share anecdotes that resonate. A well-told story does not just inform. It touches hearts and open minds. Remember, the true art of persuasion lies in guiding others to rethink, and maybe even in rethinking yourself. We don't have to convince them we're right. We just need them to open their minds to the possibility that they might be wrong. Their natural curiosity will do the rest. Chapter 6. Reopening closed minds. Diminishing prejudice by destabilizing stereotypes. Many of our beliefs are cultural truisms, widely shared but rarely questioned. Research shows that when we identify too strongly with one group, we can fall into an us versus them mentality. For example, a study on rival sports fans revealed that they sometimes prioritize their hatred for the opposing team over genuine support for their own. When individuals with similar beliefs deliberate together, they tend to reinforce one another's views. This lack of opposition can magnify biases and close our minds off alternative perspectives. Adam Grant suggests several interventions to help reopen our minds and challenge our preconceived notions. 1. Reflect on your beliefs. Take time to question the foundations of your views. Ask yourself, is this belief based on evidence or just an assumption? 2. Practice counterfactual thinking. Imagine alternative scenarios. Consider what it might be like to be born into a different demographic. This exercise can help you see beyond the stereotypes and understand that your worldview is not the only valid one. 3. Recognize the exceptions. Often, when you meet someone from a rival group who doesn't fit your stereotype, you might dismiss them as an anomaly. Instead, view these individuals as valuable evidence that challenges your overarching generalizations. 4. Engage in self-reflection. Before you get caught up in the heat of competition, whether in a debate, at work, or even while cheering for your favorite team, pause and ask, am I here to learn something new, or am I just defending my side? How can this challenge help me improve my own thinking? Chapter 8. How the right kind of listening motivates people to change. Communicators try to make themselves look smart. Great listeners try to make their audience feel smart. Motivational interviewing is a method to help people find their own reasons to change. We rarely succeed in motivating others by telling them what to do. Instead, the key is helping them find their own reasons to change. Rather than pushing advice, our role is to hold up a mirror, allowing others to see their beliefs and behaviors more clearly. This can trigger a rethinking cycle, where they develop humility about their knowledge, doubt in their convictions, and curiosity about new perspectives. The process of motivational interviewing involves these key techniques. 1. Asking open-ended questions. 2. Engaging in reflective listening. 3. Affirming their autonomy. And 4. Summarizing. Motivational interviewing has been widely successful in behavior change, helping people quit smoking, lose weight, and overcome addiction. Studies show that this method leads to meaningful change in 3 out of 4 cases and has an 80% success rate when used by professionals. People often resist advice not because they disagree with it, but because they feel pressured. To reduce resistance, invite reflection instead of dictating solutions. Now let's talk about the concept of influential listening. Listening isn't just about talking less. It's about asking the right questions and responding thoughtfully. True listening means being genuinely curious about others' interests, rather than trying to prove our own knowledge or status. As journalist Kate Murphy puts it, We should aim to ask questions without the hidden agenda of fixing, advising, or correcting. This is known as the righting reflex, the urge to fix problems. While people want doctors to fix broken bones when it comes to personal struggles, they often seek empathy, not solutions. Skilled listeners resist this reflex, offering a space for people to process their own thoughts. Studies show that empathetic, non-judgmental listening reduces anxiety and defensiveness. Great listeners don't try to sound smart. They help others feel smart. When people articulate their thoughts, they often gain new insights themselves. Listening is one of the most valuable gifts we can offer, our attention. When people feel heard and understood, they become more open to listening in return. If you found value in this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more inspiring content, and share your favorite tip in the comments below. Let's build a community that uplifts and inspires each other. See you in the next video.